and welcome back. So in this video, as a part of the business model playlist, we're going to review gig economy. So if you think about Uber, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, this could also include Fiverr and Upwork, those types of things. If the idea of making money in the gig economy is something that interests you, well, we're going to jump in and explore that. We're going to look at the pros, the cons, as well as the potential profits here. And we're going to kind of explore what the business is as well. And if you've missed some of our videos, go check them out. The playlist is below, and it starts with an intro or validating if you or your business idea is something that you could potentially do. And then we jump into various different models, both virtual and eventually will be in-person service-based type businesses as well. So let's jump in. And hey, I am Helena. After 30 years in a finance career, I now help sales agents and businesses scale their business to be able to be seen online and to streamline their processes so they take less time to make more profits. So let's jump in and take a look at the gig economy. So I will say I have been a skip the dishes driver deliverer person. There was a time when I was going through a divorce and I just wanted to make sure I was making ends meet for my kids. I wanted to make sure that there was dinner on the table. So I was working a full-time job and delivering skip the dishes on the evenings and weekends when I possibly could. And I will say at first, this started out being a really great opportunity to earn a little bit extra cash. But as COVID hit, I will say there were so many people who joined the gig economy, and the competition ended up being something that I wasn't willing to kind of compete for. Also, my circumstances changed and I started making significantly more money and I didn't have to do it anymore. But this can be a great place for somebody to start a business. And I really do see this as a great business to start for somebody who might be new to the career world. It also could be a great business to start if you are a newcomer to the country as well. There's not a whole lot of skills needed to become a driver or a delivery person. You do need skills in order to be in the Fiverr or the Upwork space, but those two spaces will allow you to be able to kind of scale your experience on a larger kind of platform where the advertising is being done for you. If you didn't want to necessarily be the freelancer and advertise and look for the business, those types of places are really great for you to develop kind of a gig economy by advertising through one of those platforms. But for the most part, let's look at gig economy as a business. Can you really scale this to make enough money to kind of survive and thrive? So let's look at the pros, the cons, and the possible profitability you can get with this as a service model. So some of the pros in starting in the gig economy is the fact that you can start fast and you can get in with very, very minimal cost. Now, that being said, if you are an Uber driver or a delivery person, you do require to have a vehicle. But most people who would be considering this already know that they need a vehicle. And yes, there are bicycle kind of delivery options as well. But for the most part, if you do want to get into this type of business, you will need a vehicle, but you won't need a whole lot of skills to jump in to this. So low-ish kind of barrier to starting this as a business. You will need something to be able to deliver stuff, but you're not going to need a whole lot of skills to get up and running. And you don't need to kind of advertise either, because you are going to be kind of out there using somebody else's software and being able to kind of just distribute your work through somebody else. And really, I would take a look at this and say, at the biggest opportunity, it is a really great area for you to be able to earn side hustle or part-time income. And that's exactly what I used it for when I needed to. I wanted to make sure that I had extra income. Also, I was bored at nights. When you go through a divorce, sometimes you end up being pretty lonely in the evenings. And it was kind of nice to be able to get out there, talk to restaurant owners, talk to the chefs, talk to the people you were delivering it to, or be able to even just listen to the radio and sing in your car at the top of your lungs. it just gave me an additional area to not feel so alone as well. So that part of it was a pro for me as well. I love talking to people, so it gave me an avenue to do that. The cons, though, I will say that there are a lot more cons to this than there are pros. So one of the biggest things was that there was wear and tear on my vehicle, and as gas prices rose, it became very hard to create kind of a profit here between insurance, gas, maintenance of my vehicle. In the amount that I was making, that was part of the determination of why I stopped doing this. But if you have a vehicle that doesn't cost very much to operate on a month-to-month basis, that probably will help kind of negate the outright cost versus profit kind of ratio here. But I will say, for the most part, there isn't a whole lot of profit here, and you have a lot of competition now. After COVID, after the pandemic, everyone wanted to kind of get part-time income and get out there, and the gig economy blew up. There were so many people who started earning money here, and newcomers to your country will often work this job because of the fact that you don't need a whole lot of skills, and coming into a country, certain professions require you to be educated in your country, and even though you may have been a doctor abroad, you will have to get re-educated here. But having the ability to do something like an Uber driver while you are getting your degree, it does offer you some ability to earn some income very, very quickly as a newcomer to a country. The other thing also is that income can fluctuate based on the economy as well. If there are a lot of people who aren't buying or ordering online or needing to get from point A to point B, well, you're not going to be earning a whole lot of money here because there's nobody who is ordering, and you're not going to be notified by the app that you use to go and pick up or deliver something. And the other thing in regards to that, well, you might be delivering, something that only derives $1 or $2. Whereas if you had stuck around, closer to a restaurant that has a higher kind of profit margin, you could have ended up making a lot more money. So you do have also the variability of who you are delivering for, who are you delivering to, are they a tipper, are they not a tipper, what type of price point they're paying, etc. That all really bears in mind with the gig economy. What is being purchased? How long will it take? What is the profit margin out of it? All right, sorry, I had to switch to a different camera to finish this one out. But if we take a look at this, if you have a vehicle that has wear and tear, that's going to affect, you as a whole. That is a con. Let's just call it what it is. And yeah, Upwork, Fiverr, you're not necessarily going to see as much wear and tear. Yeah, your computer, your laptop is going to get a little bit, but from the most part, those types of gigs you're going to be fine with. But anything that you're delivering, there is always going to be a cost associated to that. And last but not least, dealing with the public. So if you are not a public kind of person, just understand you're going to have to get through your kind of vibe on this one. As an Uber driver, you're going to get all kinds of people coming into your car in all kinds of states, anywhere from the super happy-go-lucky person who just needs a drive from here to there, or up to the person who has had a full night out and has a full belly of liquor and is looking to aim at your back seat as the toilet of their choice to get it out of their system. So just understand that if you don't like dealing with the public, this is not going to be for you. And yes, you can consider yourself as a business in here, but remember, you're going to have to track all of your own bookkeeping, your receipts. You're going to have to report your income here as well. And I do know of people who have left their jobs to do this full time because it does give them the flexibility, the ability to earn on the hours that they do want. Just understand that you can become a full-time business here, but for the most part, this is usually considered like side hustle or part-time income. And you will need to make sure you are monitoring your finances accordingly. So profitability here again, it's very, very difficult. to kind of determine this because it is so dependent on what type of income you're earning. So something like Upwork or Fiverr, you absolutely have the ability to even get up to 100K, 200K, etc. But something like Uber driving and that, it really depends on when you're driving, how much you're driving, where you're driving to, what kind of profits you're earning from it, etc. What kind of time you're putting into it to earn those profits. So there's really nothing I can say from a guaranteed marker. I know myself as a part-time person doing skip the dishes delivery. At that time, I was earning on average, let's say about $200 every 2 weeks. It was, enough to put groceries for one and maybe one of my kids on the table. It really helped with that part of it. And that's net. So I'm looking at that as a net cost. So after I paid for my gas, my insurance, etc. But there are people out there who do this as a full-time living. So obviously you can make enough money to completely satisfy an annual income. All right. So if the gig economy isn't your thing, it's not what wakes you up and goes, yes, I want to do that for the rest of my life. Well, we're going to jump into the next one, which is a product-based business. Very, very common. This is where somebody makes something and sells it. So we're going to jump into the pros, the cons, and the possible profits or incomes that you can earn in a product-based business.